Morning everyone, welcome to Chaz Koi. This is just going to be the first in a short series of videos about converting an IBC tank into a koi tank or other kind of fish tank. I'm just going to very briefly cover in this video what IBC tanks are, the different types that are available, kind of their size and dimensions and what sort of fittings that they take, and a few considerations, things for you to think about when you're buying your IBC tank. I'm going to do separate videos on how I'm going to go about converting it. I've seen lots and lots of other people do similar things on YouTube, so I'm going to link to other people's videos so that you can see what I've reviewed to inform my decisions. But again, this is just going to be a brief short video just to give you a quick overview, and then I'm going to sort of cover off in separate videos kind of how I'm going to convert the tank that I've acquired into my koi tank. So hope you enjoy. Please leave comments down below of anything that you've learned from your own experiences or any tips or guidance you want to give people viewing this video. You know, I'm all up for community engagement and helping each other out. So hope you enjoy the video and see you soon. So I've obviously Googled this and looked on Wikipedia, but an IBC container is basically an intermediate bulk container. They're basically, from what I can understand, standard grade containers. I mean, I've seen them in use for water bowsers, for drinking water for animals. Even when I've been camping, sometimes places use them to dispose of grey water and sewage waste. Now, I bought my container for somebody off of Gumtree. As I said, it was previously used to hold PVA glue. So one of the things to think about, because of the multitude of different uses of these tanks, be sure where you get it from, that it hasn't been used to store any chemicals that might be harmful to your fish, and make sure you give them a good clean and a good scrub out before you use them. So yeah, places to check: Facebook Marketplace, your local free ads, and also just search for websites. You can buy them new, and also I did find some local distributors to me that also sold them reconditioned secondhand, with all new fittings and all of that sort of stuff on it. So have a good Google and hopefully you'll find one that meets your needs. Here's a quick scan through Google Images just so you can see the various different types of containers: the translucent ones, black ones, used ones, new ones, all different types of bases. And we can even see here an IBC tank in its natural habitat there out in the wild, and another one here which looks like it's been converted to some sort of tank. So hopefully that provides you with a bit of background and information where to get them and what they're used for. So please excuse the rudimentary drawing, but I thought it might be helpful just to talk about the dimensions of the tank. So this tank is a 1,000 litre tank, and as far as I know, they come in pretty much standard sizes. So it's 100. So looking at it, I'm calling the front of it where the valve is, where the connector is. So looking at the front of that, it's 100 centimetres wide. It's 120 centimetres deep, and its overall height is 115 centimetres tall. And the width of the sort of the pallet on the bottom is 13 centimetres. Now I've measured the centre of the outlet pipe, and it's about 15 centimetres off the ground. So it does dip into, as you can see from the pictures in the video, the top of the pallet. So hopefully that's of use if you're trying to work out how big these tanks are and how you can fit them in your spaces. So here's the IBC tank that I've got. As you can see, it's got a plastic base. They do them with 3 different types of bases: plastic, wooden, which is just like a wooden pallet, or a metal version that's the same, sort of similar to this. Now I picked plastic because I want to be able to screw into this to put some paneling up on the outside, so that's something for you to think about. It's got standard IBC connectors, and I'll go into this in a little bit more detail later on. And it has obviously a solid top with these bars, and that's the sort of way it would be filled up to be used. Now if you look inside, you can see there's a drainage channel that leads to the outflow. Obviously this needs a good old clean. It's previously held PVC glue, so I know that it's kind of non-toxic and just needs a good pressure wash out once I've taken the lid off. It's had a few dinks and dents in it. It's obviously been used, but it's no problem. These bars are removable. So yeah, that's what I'll be dealing with and converting into my koi tank. So I thought I'd give you a quick peek at the bottom of the base of the tank. It's not quite as solid as I thought. I thought this was going to be a big plastic pallet, but it's not. It's just trim on the metal cage. The thing to note is that the bottle can be removed from the cage if you want to, so you can just then sit this on the ground, but you'll lose obviously the rigidity of the sides. But actually looking at this as well, you could I think remove the plastic bits from the bottom of the cage if you wanted to, but then obviously the other thing that you'd need to consider is that this spout actually protrudes from the bottom line of the tank. So if you did do that, and obviously you'd need to make sure that you had a dugout from wherever you've placed it on to maintain access to the spout, and obviously this part of the mechanism here. So yeah, just a quick peek underneath. I think the other thing that's worth mentioning is that the tanks themselves aren't actually that heavy. This one, I think they weigh about 35 kilos, but I mean, I can easily move it sort of one-handed, turn it upside down, you know, easy to drag around. You probably need to, I can just about lift it off the ground on my own, but two sort of medium-built, healthy people should be able to lift one of these, no problems. Here's a closer look at the fittings that come on, well, have come on this IBC tank, and I believe they're pretty much standard. Obviously you've got this little spout here, this obviously detaches here. I'm not going to undo that because I don't want to break the seal. Simple twist cap on the end, quite a thick thread on here, and that measures, as we can see, I think there's 60mm threads, but the internal diameter of that's about 4.5 centimeters. It's got a valve inside for the handle. You can see there that's all nicely gunked up, so I need to give that a good clean. But what I've done is I've ordered a adapter on here from Amazon. It's coming later, so I'll show you that when it arrives. But essentially you can get lots of different fittings here to reduce the size of the pipe or just come off of it with different fittings. So I'll show you what I bought, and might even put a link in the description below to the so you can see it on Amazon. Here is what I've ordered from Amazon. It converts the IBC tank connector into a 38mm or 1.5 inch fitment, so I can put a pond pump hose onto it. As you can see, flicking through here, they're not that expensive, and they come in lots of ranges of different sizes, and you can find them elsewhere as well. I've cleaned out the valve with the pressure washer from inside and out, and that's now closing well. I've noticed actually it's got a little security tag here, so if you took that little plastic clip out, if you wanted to, you could put a screw or bolt, nut and bolt through there to make sure that stays shut if you don't want to use that as an outlet on the tank, just to save you accidentally draining it, knocking it or whatever. But my Amazon delivery's come, so here's my 1.5 inch adapter that I bought off Amazon, and again, looking at that there, that's just gonna screw on. It's got a washer in it as well, so it should create a nice tight seal. I'll also put some PTFE tape on there when I do it for real. But that's how I'm going to connect my pump, 2-inch hose into the pump and then into my filter system. So far that's looking pretty decent. Right, so I thought it might be interesting to just have a look at the hole on the inside, because what my plans are for there is to put the cage off of my filter on there, put on the pump, just to stop any fish from getting sucked in to the hole. So that's what it looks like. It's the other end of the outlet pipe. What's the size of that hole? So it's consistent. I'll try and get that focus in. What are we talking? 45mm in diameter, and sticking out, what we got? About 3 centimeters to that connector pipe there. So that's what that looks like from the inside. In terms of clearance that way, yeah, as you can see, if I put that across the bottom, you can see where it fits. So hopefully you might be able to put a bit of, I know, a little bit of pipe with a thing on there. But this is the channel that runs all the way along the bottom to obviously just take it lower than the base. So that just does give it a little bit of drop to hopefully get any debris out into the pump system. So thanks for watching. That's part 1 of the IBC tank series. Tune in for part 2, where I'm going to start converting mine, giving it a clean, and kind of talking you through a little bit more about what my plans are. So look forward to seeing you soon.